Today we're going to take you to another incredible Native American mound site in Mississippi called Winterville Mounds. And as an added bonus, you get to enjoy this great Delta sunset. Winterville is one of the largest Native American mound sites in the United States. It was a ceremonial site and it was built between AD 1000 to 1450. The site probably contained at least 23 earthworks at one time, and the people that built them were the ancestors of the Chickasaw and Choctaw. The Winterfield Chieftain was a dominant power in the region back in its day, and there's archaeological evidence that indicates that it had contact with far distant chieftains. There's just no way that my video work is going to indicate for you how big this place really is. The society here was probably divided into upper and lower ranks, with a person's social rank determined by heredity through the female line. If you were a chief, that means you inherited your position as a member of a royal family. As I said a bit earlier, the people who created these mounds were Native Americans, but they were not the Chickasaw and Choctaw of today. They were their ancestors. Many of the chiefdoms that existed when these earthworks were created were destroyed after the Hernando de Soto expedition passed through in 1539 to about 1543. It is believed that a lack of immunity to European diseases is what wiped these groups out. The remnants of these chiefdoms banded together, creating the tribes we know today. As I look around, I think about all the work that was required to create these structures by hand. There are mounds, plazas, and other earthworks out here that were all created when dirt was dug and loaded into a basket and carried to the site, dumped into place, and stamped down. This process was repeated over and over until the desired shape and height was reached. Each mound would have been enlarged several times, of course, until its desired size and shape and height was reached. If there was a structure at the top of the mound, it would have been burned before enlarging the mound, and then you would build another structure when the new construction was completed. Mound G is like Mound C and even L with an oval shape. You more commonly found a round shape or a more rectangular or quadrilateral shape. Mound C was probably the residence of an elite family. Let's look toward Mound A and the plaza. Mound A is 55 feet tall, and it's one of the 10 tallest found in the United States. This mound is roughly the height of a 5-story building. Now remember the construction method where the dirt was carried by basket and stamped into place to form this present size and shape. Actually, the original mound was probably a little bit bigger due to erosion and other things that have impacted it over time. Richard is standing beside the mound and he's about 6 feet tall. Mounds D and F are on the western border of the mound site. In fact, Mound D was constructed on an earlier pre-mound occupation deposit. Archaeologists found a trash pit at Mound D, and it contained things like the bones of rabbits and squirrels and other birds. The trash pit was probably dug to provide the materials for Mound D. Mound B is about 30 feet tall and sits at the southwest end of the mound group. It has revealed lots of information over the last 100 years. Mound B was probably the site of a charnel house. This was a structure where bones of the dead were cleaned of their flesh and stored in baskets. One could guess that important leaders or other important people of the Winterville elite may have been buried at their death, and the stored bones at the charnel house probably would have been buried as well. There was a great fire on the Temple Mound at Winterville sometime during the late 1300s. The site continued to be used after the fire, but no more mounds were built. The population here at Winterville declined at this point and increased at the other mound sites in and around the Yazoo River Basin. By 1450, the site here at Winterville seems to have been completely abandoned. I just wish there was some way my words and video work could convey to you the wonder and majesty of this place. This area of Mississippi is just filled with Native American sites, Winterville, of course, being the largest. I hope you've enjoyed your opportunity to see, learn, and explore a little bit about the Winterville Mound site today. Maybe even consider doing a little research and coming to visit for yourself sometimes. Thank you.